Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about Guthrie Govan's Heart of the City. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. I do guitar videos, lessons, covers, gear reviews, those sorts of things, and I try to have fun along the way. Last week I posted a video of me playing through Heart of the City by Guthrie Govan. And it was really cool. It was a really hard solo to learn. But for me, when I learn a solo, it's not just about learning the solo to be able to play the solo, to say that I learned the solo or whatever it is. It's about getting better at the guitar. And so it's key whenever you learn a solo, not just to learn the solo, but break down the solo and see where you can take the information and put it elsewhere. So we're going to take 5 licks from this solo today and then put it somewhere else, put it in other things. So let's do it. The first lick we're going to look at is the very first few notes of the song, okay? So first we're going to talk about what the lick is. So here's the lick. It starts just like that. So this in guitar is what we call a double stop, where you play 2 notes at the same time. So that was the pentatonic scale, but played with double stops. So looking at just that first part, if we think about E minor pentatonic, there's other places we could do this. We could do a little, we could do it there. Oh, we could do it there, there, there. We could do it, we could do it right here. We could do it like this, like this. So there's all kinds of combinations. And then we got this. This is more of a blues lick, right? So we're at the 4th, hammer on to the sharp 4, which is the blues note, back to the 4, the 3rd, then the root. There's other places where you can, this can be naturally occurring. You think about G major, which Guthrie uses quite a bit. So we could use this on the 7th degree, going down to the E note. And then hitting the D note. Guthrie uses this lick going from a C, that's the first chord of the song, going to a G. So let's take a look at how I move this lick around. So one other thing that we want to do whenever we're breaking down these licks is try to move them to a new place, okay? So we just took the lick apart and we analyzed it, broke it down. Now we want to move it to a new place. So one of my favorite tunes is Autumn Leaves. So I really like Autumn Leaves because it has the 2-5-1 in major and it has the 2-5-1 in minor. And it's just a really nice chord progression. I just really appreciate it. So I created a little guitar backing for Autumn Leaves, and let's take a listen to how that sounds by itself. Let's take a look at how that first lick sounds over this tune. The second lick that I want to take a look at, it's not really a lick per se, but there's so many points during this song where Guthrie is using pentatonic slides. So he's using a pentatonic scale, but he's just sliding it around with one finger. Right in the beginning, right after the beginning, he does this. And that's just a big pentatonic slide. All that could be pentatonic. And then he comes, and that's all pentatonic too. So there's so many places where he's just using this pentatonic slide thing. The next lick that I want to highlight is right after the last one. He slides up to the 12 and does this lick. And I really like that the character of that lick is very melodic, the intervals themselves, but it's mainly just arpeggios highlighting this C shape, this D shape, and then ending on a G shape. And so he's highlighting that C chord, but in an interesting way. So he does that hammer onto the C note, hits the E note, then bends up to the E note again. So he does like a double E note, but that's a very, a very common thing to do when using the pentatonic scale, is to hit the E note and then bend up to that E note from the 7th degree. So although this isn't a pentatonic lick, it's sort of applying pentatonic principles. And then what's happening here, if we're thinking about, this is a G major kind of scale sound. Sounds like G major. So he's bending up the 4th degree to the G and back down, which is something people do a lot down here, right? They have that little pinky thing going on. Same thing up here. So he's kind of just doing that. Comes down the D chord. And then slides back to the root G right there. If we want to make this our own, what we'd want to do is move it to a new place, right? So let's think about G major. Let's think about the chords in G major. We have a C chord. We have a D chord, so we could do this. And then we have an E chord, right? So, and then we have, and we can even add notes to this. Okay, so let's say that we do this, and then we come down the scale. Or let's say we go up the scale. So now, after breaking down and analyzing the third lick, let's take a listen to how that sounds over the changes of Autumn Leaves. The next lick we're going to take a look at is sort of the first fast passage in the song, where he's doing this. And there's something in that lick I still practice pretty much daily that I love to do, and I think it sounds really good in solos. So the beginning part is all pentatonic. It's a little bit mixed with G major, but mostly pentatonic. Just the only thing is the F sharp right there, the 14th fret. So sort of the 9th, but that's sort of a common thing people will throw in pentatonic anyway. So he goes back just like in the third lick, and he hits that 12th fret, bends the 15th fret up to that E note to sort of have the double note kind of thing. It does the same thing here. The main thing I take away is not that part, but this part right here. So that's just a big A7. And that very thing I just did is what I took away, because mainly what Guthrie is doing here is going back and forth sort of like in every other note, jumping up and down, jumping back and forth around this A7. And there's another place where he does this too, right after the second fast passage, whenever he it starts to sound like E harmonic minor right there. And you can clearly hear that E minor going to that B7. And he's doing the same kind of thing there. Also, during the A7, he doesn't just do every other note. He kind of has this 1, 2, 3 sort of thing, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's another thing I've been practicing, just because I love the sound of that. There's something so just captivating about that sound. It's just so melodic, and I just have always enjoyed that sound. And I didn't know what it was until recent years when I've started practicing arpeggios a lot more. Let's take this little thing, and this has turned into more of an exercise than anything, and let's take a listen to how that sounds over Autumn Leaves. Now, the last lick I want to take a look at isn't the third fast passage, because the third fast passage is a flurry of, triplets and quintuplets and just really fast notes happening. And when I play fast notes, I usually do 30-second notes, and it's very legato kind of sounding because, I haven't gotten my right hand up to speed yet. I'm working on it, but I haven't gotten it up to speed yet. So I do a lot of legato stuff when I'm doing 16th notes. So... stuff like that. And so I can't get my right hand to keep up. So whenever I need a fast passage, that's sort of what I go to, This fifth lick is like this. And it's just very smooth, it's just very nice. So he slides up from a B note on the third string, goes to the 9, and then he comes up a C major. If we think this shape. And then he slides down to the 7, which is the B note. And then he goes to the G, slides up to an A, comes back down to an E, which is sort of pentatonic. When taking this lick, we could start on a different note and say he went up to the C major. We could go up to the D major. And then we could go up to E minor, right? We could even go up, to the F sharp diminished. And then we could go back to the G. Let's take a listen to how this lick would sound over Autumn Leaves. Now, the last thing I did is sort of jumble all these together and create a solo over that little Autumn Leaves guitar track based on using all of these licks. So let's give that a listen. hope this helps you guys. I know it really challenged me, and it really helps me a lot. And every time I learn a solo, I try to see what I can take from the solo, what I can learn from the solo. And in that way, it's like the guitarist becomes my teacher. You know, the recording is my teacher. And so transcribing, learning solos, you know, learning new tunes, that's something every guitar player should do to improve and challenge yourself. When you come to the end of yourself and your own phrasing, then you have to look to others and their phrasing and see how they've done it and see how you can get that sound. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.